So from the GOAT to Danny Dimes, Giants QB1 will get his first preseason action against the New England Patriots, Tom's old team, on Sunday. Head coach Joe Judge has kept Jones sidelined for the first two preseason games, but he announced on Monday that Jones, of course, will play the entire first half, so get a chance to play with some of those new weapons. He's entering a pivotal season since coming from Duke over the past few seasons. He's known for the turnovers, unable to hold on to the ball, 22 interceptions, 29 fumbles in just 27 games. However, there have been times he's flashed that star potential we saw back in college. Giants front office doing all they can to add some of those targets around him. Kenny Galladay signing him in the offseason, drafting Kadarius Toney, along with others. So you can say the expectations are pretty high for the G-Men. Let's bring in our Jason Lockett forward with more of this. And, of course, the first time we see Daniel Jones making his preseason debut. We know about what he's done in the past, JLC, not able to hold onto the ball, interceptions, fumbles. What are you expecting to see from him come Sunday?
Boy, I mean, if you're a Giants fan, look, you want him to run around, get a little sweat going, complete a few passes, and don't turn it over, right, and don't get hurt. You mentioned some of the upgrades. I mean, Galladay has had difficulty staying on the field. It's been a weird offseason for Kadarius Toney. They've had players retiring on the spot. The offensive line, you talk to other people around the league, other executives, they feel like the Giants' offensive line remains a major problem. Saquon Barkley, not sure if he's going to be ready for week one. Kyle Rudolph, that was an interesting signing at this stage of his career. He was signed hurt. He's just starting to get on the field now. So I'm not sure that they really do have this array of weapons for Daniel Jones. I'm not really sure that they can protect him and incubate him the way they'd ideally like. And I'm not sure, frankly, that he's going to take a major step up this year. But for these purposes of this weekend and Sunday, keep him upright, have him throw a few completions, don't turn it over.
What do you think has been holding him back? I know we talk about the interceptions and the turnovers, but it seems like they put the pieces there. You just mentioned it. You don't expect a huge uptick, but what's really been holding him back since coming out of college here?
Well, look, there aren't people around the league who are going to tell you that Jason Garrett is at the vanguard of modern offensive philosophy and modern offensive play calling. He's not viewed as an innovator or someone who is necessarily a quarterback whisperer at this stage of his career. I mentioned the offensive line. I mean, look, you saw what happened to Joe Burrow last year. As great as he was, as transcendent as he was, you're ultimately tethered to the five guys in front of you and the protection schemes and what's going on there. The loss of Saquon Barkley obviously impacts Daniel Jones as well. The teams don't have to defend them the same way. I really haven't liked a lot of their talent in terms of the ability to get downfield. And there's also the reality that Daniel Jones just may have been overdrafted, and he also may have played too soon.
Staying in New York here, of course, the injuries piling up for the Jets here. The latest, Mekhi Becton, their tackle. How does this kind of slow down Robert Saleh's kind of debut as a head coach for week one if you're talking about a rebuild there with the Jets?
Yeah, this is a huge blow. I mean, now look, Becton was still in the process of playing himself into the kind of shape he was last year. He was carrying some extra weight and not having the greatest camp in the world. But you can do that with basically 3 weeks left to go. But now, with him going down, look, I think you have to be very careful with the young quarterback, who's used to kind of counting on his athleticism to get him out of situations. I think you better employ the old KISS philosophy. Keep it simple, stupid. Run the ball, do whatever you have to do to stay balanced, to try to stay out of second and forever and third and forever when teams can tee off on you. That's an offensive line that had made some strides and I thought would be a little better this year, but Becton had a lot to do with that. And then the other side of the ball, no Carl Lawson. You've now become more vulnerable in pass necessary situations, and you're not nearly as impactful. You don't have as much bite exploiting the other team when you get them in those pass needy situations, which can often lead to turnovers and momentum changing plays to help the young quarterback. So it's all intertwined, and it's not trending in a good direction for the Jets.
You look at the first 5 games there, week 3 and 4. You got the Broncos and Titans. You're talking about a defensive unit getting after young QB. That could hurt them down the regular season line there. All right, looking at the Rams trading for Sony Michel. What does this do for their backfield course? No Cam Akers. What does that do for their run game?
Yeah, I mean, look, and Henderson got banged up as well. They do have the youngster Jake Funk, who they took out of Maryland, who they like a lot, but they also want him to have heavy special teams duties. So New England's backfield is just loaded. I mean, they were carrying about 5 or 6 guys who could probably play in the league. So Sony Michel's had injury issues there. You know, Damian Harris has emerged as maybe the featured guy. They still have other people that they like as sort of airbacks or third down back. So his role had really become limited. He'd fallen a little bit out of favor, and he's had availability issues. But from the Rams' perspective, they have no numbers at running back right now. It's a guy who has done some nice things in the league at times when he's been healthy. Is he going to have ongoing continual medical issues? He might. But for right now, for a position of need and giving up late-round conditional picks, you're going to see more of these kind of trades, frankly, between now and the start of the season, because there's going to be some teams that have more defensive linemen or more wide receivers than they need, and you're going to have other teams that need players at that position, and that's how trades are born.
Looking at the Patriots side from this one, you got Damian Harris, James White now in that backfield. Do we have a lead back? Do we have an RB1 there, or is there a chance somebody can come out as a lead back come week 1?
Well, I mean, I think from a fantasy perspective, the guy I think will have the most volume at the end of the day will be Harris. But we know if you're in a point per reception league, and White can catch the ball, and when he gets out in space, he can take a screen pass 30 yards for a touchdown. I mean, you got to weigh that as well. And also, look, Cam Newton, when he's in there, will get his carries as well. That's not going away. So it's going to be a 3- or 4-headed monster. But Sony Michel is not someone they were counting on in New England.
All right, Damian Harris, of course, getting high praise from Bill Belichick last week, possibly being a bulk of that load there in New England. As always, Jason Lockenford, appreciate your time tapping in on everything in the NFL. Don't forget the conversation continues. All things covered with our guys here, Brian McFadden, along with Patrick Peterson there. They got a Cowboy in the latest spot here, Tommy. Jared Allen talking about, a Hall of Fame-worthy career, his Viking memories, being teammates with Brett Favre and Danielle Hunter's potential, and also making a movie appearance in the latest movie.
Between that and Hard Knocks, man, you are giddy.
No, it's just something going on. Download and give the guys a follow. Always good company.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.